Hi guys, welcome back to another TARDIS Master video. So, with Season 1 out of the way, and my rankings of Season 1 out of the way, I'm going to take you through Season 1 episodes according to you, as ranked on IMDb. So, coming in at 9th place is Space Babies. This episode is an okay-ish episode. It is the first episode in the series, and a bit underwhelming. However, I don't think it deserves to be last place, because I do think there are some definite ups in this episode. It depicts the Doctor and Ruby landing on a spaceship which is controlled by babies. But can they be saved from the terrifying bogeyman is the question. Spoiler alert, yes they can. And I think that there are some great scenes, especially when the Doctor and Ruby are talking to the babies, which I think is very cute. Coming in at number 8 is The Devil's Chord. The Devil's Chord is criminally underranked in this. It gets a rating of 6.2 stars, which is a whole 1 star above Space Babies, which I think is both a shame for The Devil's Chord and Space Babies. It shows the Doctor and Ruby meeting the Beatles. However, they discover a god called Maestro, who seems to be changing history by erasing music from it. It gives some great performances from Maestro, who's played by the amazing Jinx Monsoon, and it is also the first episode where I really feel a connection between the Doctor and Ruby. Okay, at number 7 is The Empire of Death. This was the finale episode of Season 1, and in my opinion, very underwhelming. It gets a rating of 6.6 stars on here, which I think quite accurately represents it, because it is one of the episodes which doesn't do much for the show. I mean, yes, it solves a cliffhanger from the last episode, but I mean, in my opinion, I was left wishing that we hadn't got that episode. We were just left on the cliffhanger because it was so boring and disappointing because of the reveal at the end. I mean, I'm saying all this stuff, but I think the first half an hour was pretty good, which probably is the reason it's ranked this highly on the list. Okay, at number 6 is The Church on Ruby Road. This episode is quite a good episode, since it's the Christmas special, and most people don't have anything against Christmas specials because they don't have that much impact on the show. However, this one did, since it set up the mystery of who Ruby's mother is. It was also the first episode that both Ncuti Gatwa and Millie Gibson appeared in together, and has a good narrative, and is just quite relaxed and easygoing, which is good for a Christmas special. Coming in at number 5 is Rogue. I think this is one of the first ones which I really don't agree with its rating. If you've watched my video where I rank the episodes, you will know that Rogue was ranked 3rd in my opinion. So putting it all the way at 5th with a rating of 7.1 stars is, in my opinion, a crime, since it's a great episode. It is a great performance from the Doctor, played by Ncuti Gatwa, Ruby, played by Millie Gibson, and Rogue, played by Jonathan Groff, the amazing guest star. It depicts the Doctor and Ruby landing in 1813, where they are guests at a Duchess's party, and they meet a bounty hunter called Rogue, who then helps the Doctor and Ruby stop these bird-like creatures from taking over the world by cosplaying as humans. However, at the end, Rogue sacrifices himself so Ruby can survive. This is one of the great scenes from this episode, but there are also so many others. So if you want to know my favourites, go watch the video where I rank it. Number 4 is Dot and Bubble. I think this is really, really, really wrong. I have nothing against the message behind Dot and Bubble. However, it was not carried off in an interesting way for the viewer. I think giving it 7.3 stars is just wrong. I would put it definitely in the 6-star range, maybe even in the 5-star range, as you will know if you watched my previous video. And I think that this episode was just a bit boring, since you saw Lindy Pepper Bean being attacked by these slug-like monsters, which would have been fine had Lindy Pepper Bean been a likable character, but at the end you just find out that she's a racist. Okay, and number 3, and the silver medal, or sorry, bronze medal, don't know where silver came from, is Boom. This episode was written by Stephen Moffat, so there was a lot of hype around it by fans, and I definitely think it lived up to that hype, since it depicts the Doctor standing on a landmine for the whole episode. Obviously, that means that Ncuti Gatwa had to put in an amazing performance, which he did. And there was also an amazing performance from Millie Gibson playing Ruby, which was almost surprising, even though she is a great actor. And it depicts the Doctor and Ruby landing on a planet which is in the middle of a war, and the Doctor steps on a landmine and has to get himself off for the whole episode, which might sound a bit boring, but it was written by Stephen Moffat, so how could it be? Okay, the silver medal now is 73 yards. Now, this was the episode I ranked best, in my opinion, in my list. However, I do think it's quite plausible that it could come second as well to The Legend of Ruby Sunday, which we'll come on to later. This episode is really carried by Millie Gibson, who plays Ruby, since it features the Doctor for a matter of 2 or 3 minutes, and the rest of it is just her on screen. She faces Roger Ap Gwilliam, a Welsh Prime Minister who's trying to bring the world to nuclear war by buying nuclear weapons and withdrawing from NATO. And Ruby Sunday is being stalked by this mysterious woman who is never more than 73 yards away. This is a great episode and definitely deserves its place here. Okay, and number 1, and what I mentioned earlier, was The Legend of Ruby Sunday, which I think could very easily be the best episode of this series. It is an episode which depicts the Doctor and Ruby landing in Unit Tower, and they have realised about Susan Triad, or Susan Twist, and they are wanting to use unit technology to find out who she is. And it turns out, as I mentioned before, she is Susan Triad, a tech billionaire who is about to unite the world by putting Triad out for free. However, the Doctor is suspecting that Susan Triad is his granddaughter Susan. Meanwhile, Ruby is confronted with a mystery of her own, which is, who is her mother? This is a great episode from the very first minute to the very last, and keeps fans on the edge of their seats the whole way through. And that concludes our list. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end, and if you have enjoyed it, please subscribe. It helps out a load, and might even help me get to 100 subscribers by the end of December.